The house on the hill, the keys jingled in my palm as I realized what I was holding. My uncle's house. The one I had never visited, the one no one had ever spoken of. The lawyer's voice was distant, his words muffled as if they were coming from another room. Asterisk, it's yours, kid. He wanted you to have it. Asterisk, I didn't even know he had a house. My cousins were just as stunned as I was, their faces frozen in disbelief as we stood in the entryway, the wooden floors creaking beneath our feet. The air smelled of dust and old wood, the kind of scent that settled in places no one lived in anymore. The walls were lined with photos, my uncle in a suit, standing beside a woman with a smile that never quite reached her eyes. A family, a life I had never known. No one mentioned the will until we started unpacking. The first secret was in the attic, hidden beneath the floorboards, its presence revealed only when my fingers brushed against the cold metal of the lock. My cousins were the first to crack it open, their hands trembling as they pulled out the yellowed letters. The first one was from when my uncle was in his 20s. I've never met someone so stubborn, Clara had written. Asterisk, but I can't stop thinking about you. Asterisk, the ink was faded, the paper brittle, as if time itself had tried to erase the words. The last one was from the day he died. Asterisk, I'm sorry. I couldn't let you go without knowing the truth. Asterisk, my cousin's breath hitched as she read it aloud. Asterisk, he wasn't my uncle. Asterisk, I wanted to laugh, to dismiss it as a cruel joke, to tell her that this was just another one of her wild theories. But the way her hands shook, the way her eyes darted to the walls told me she wasn't joking. My real uncle had died years before. The one who left the house was a man named Daniel, a stranger who had moved into the neighborhood after my uncle passed. He had been paying rent, but no one had noticed the way he always wore a hat, the way he never spoke of his past. The house had been in my uncle's family for generations, and Daniel had bought it cheap because he knew the truth about the will. We found the rest in the basement, where the air was thick with the scent of old paper and mildew. Bank statements, a marriage certificate, a court document, all of them proving Clara was my uncle's wife. Daniel had been her lover. He had faked his death, stolen the house, and moved in under a new name. He had been living there for years, pretending to be someone else's relative. The basement light flickered, casting long shadows across the walls as we stood there, the weight of the truth pressing down on us. So he was a gold digger, one of my cousins muttered, her voice low. Asterisk, just like we all thought. Asterisk, we called the police. Daniel was arrested a week later. He was in his 50s with graying hair and a face that looked like he'd been through hell. His laugh was hollow when he saw us, the kind of sound that didn't reach his eyes. You kids think you're so clever, he said, his voice a mocking whisper. Asterisk, but you're just as lost as I was. Asterisk, the judge sentenced him to 5 years for fraud and identity theft. The house went back to my uncle's original heirs, people who had known him his whole life. I got nothing. Not the house, not a cent. I still have the letters. I keep them in a drawer, their edges worn from being read too many times. Sometimes I wonder if Daniel ever wrote one back. I don't think he did. The truth is, he was just another man who lost everything. And I learned the hard way that inheritance isn't always what it seems. The keys in my pocket feel heavier now, the weight of the past pressing down on me. I wonder if my uncle ever knew the truth. I wonder if Clara ever told him. The house is silent now, its walls echoing with the ghosts of secrets that were never meant to be uncovered. And sometimes when I close my eyes, I can almost hear the whisper of the past, Daniel's laughter, Clara's voice, the way my uncle had looked at them both as if he already knew. But I don't open my eyes. Not yet, because the truth is some doors are better left closed.